Filipino fans leave imprint in WTA 125 event. The recent Philippine Women's Open wasn't just about Alex Ila. It was also about how the landscape of tennis in the country was changed by the WTA 125 event. Camila Osorio of Colombia was the first champion, pulling out a win over Croat Donna Vekic, who was adopted by the home fans as one of their own after Ila exited in the quarterfinals. Osorio, who has won WTA events hosted by Colombia, finally got her first ever title outside her country after outlasting Vekic in a classic final, 2-6, 6-3, 7-5, on Saturday at the Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. And while a WTA title remained elusive for the 29-year-old Vekic, it was a tournament worth remembering for her. I think the crowd support has been the best. I had a lot of fun playing out there in front of everyone, Vekic said after the loss. The crowd was pushing us today to give our best and push ourselves to the limit. Vekic has lost to Ila twice, in the ASB Classic in Auckland, New Zealand, and in the Kuyong Classic exhibition. She was in awe of the Filipinos' support for Ila and wanted the Philippines to adopt her. From her first game until the end, the Filipinos treated the 2024 Paris Olympic silver medalist like their home bet and even started calling her Tita Donna. "I didn't expect this much, to be honest," she said. "I knew they loved tennis. I knew the atmosphere was going to be great. I'm happy that they are cheering for me also." Osorio, who wore a Filipinas women's football team kit during her press conference after her semifinal win, was also showered with love by the home crowd even after she knocked out Ila in the final 8, 6-4, 6-4. The Colombian called the tournament a fairy-tale finish, as she still felt at home with the support from the crowd. "Obviously, I had a tough start to the year, so winning this match means a lot to me," Osorio said. "Also being the first time here, it's unreal and basically a fairy-tale for me." Osorio expressed her gratitude to the host country after winning the tournament. "Thank you, Manila. My heart is yours," she wrote. "It means a lot to me because I know how hard I'm working. Thank you, God and everyone, for the support. I always love all the lovely messages you leave." Vekic admitted it's tough to process the result of the title match, but the most important thing for her was the experience she had with the Filipinos. "I really enjoyed my week here. I played 5 great matches, and even though I lost today, I'm going to take a lot of positives out of this week," she said. INQ. When the crowd becomes the story, Filipino fans leave their imprint in a WTA 125 event. The tennis court is supposed to be the star. The lines are crisp, the net taut, the yellow ball flashing like a comet between two determined athletes. But during a recent WTA 125 event, something unexpected happened. The crowd, often relegated to polite applause and restrained cheers, refused to stay in the background. Instead, they stepped into the spotlight, bringing with them a warmth, rhythm, and unmistakable Filipino spirit that transformed the tournament into something more than just tennis. It became a shared experience. From the first serve to the final handshake, Filipino fans left an imprint that went beyond scorelines and statistics. They turned the stands into a living, breathing extension of the court, reminding everyone present, players, officials, and viewers alike, that sport is as much about community as competition. A sea of smiles and flags. Even before the matches began, the presence of Filipino fans was impossible to miss. Small Philippine flags waved proudly between rows of seats. Some fans wore jerseys inspired by national colors, others opted for casual outfits, their excitement enough to signal allegiance. Conversations buzzed in a blend of English and Filipino, laughter flowing freely, as if everyone in the venue was already connected by an invisible thread. Unlike the hushed formality often associated with tennis crowds, this one carried a gentle hum of energy. It wasn't disruptive, it was alive. Every point won was met with genuine applause, not just for local favorites but for effort, grit, and moments of brilliance from any player brave enough to chase down a tough shot. In that atmosphere, the court felt less intimidating and more welcoming, cheering with heart, not just volume. What set Filipino fans apart wasn't how loud they were, but how intentional their support felt. They clapped through long rallies, groaned together at missed opportunities, and erupted in joy when a player delivered a perfectly timed winner. The reactions were spontaneous and heartfelt, never rehearsed. Even neutral matches felt personal, as if every competitor had been temporarily adopted by the crowd. This brand of support is deeply rooted in Filipino culture, where encouragement is freely given and effort is respected as much as victory. In the stands, that cultural value translated into a rare kind of sportsmanship, one that players could feel with every step they took onto the court. Several athletes were seen smiling between points, feeding off the crowd's energy. In a sport that can often feel isolating, the fans became an emotional anchor, turning pressure into passion. For players competing in a WTA 125 event, often grinding their way up the rankings, chasing consistency and confidence, the crowd can make or break a match. Hey, the Filipino fans made it. Instead of adding pressure, their presence softened it. Mistakes were met with applause of encouragement rather than judgment. Comebacks were cheered as loudly as dominance. The message was clear: keep going. We're with you. That kind of support matters more than many realize. Tennis is a mental battlefield, and even a small nod of affirmation from the stands can tip the balance. The Filipino crowd didn't just watch the matches, they participated emotionally, becoming silent partners in every rally. More than tennis, a cultural showcase. Between matches, the stands told their own story. Families shared snacks, friends posed for photos, and strangers bonded over shared excitement. There was an easy friendliness in the air, a reminder that Filipinos are known not only for passion but for hospitality. Even visiting fans and international guests found themselves welcomed into conversations, offered smiles, and drawn into the collective joy of the event. In that way, the WTA 125 tournament became a cultural exchange. Tennis was the reason everyone gathered, but Filipino warmth was the lasting impression. It showed how sport can serve as a bridge between nations, between athletes and fans, and between competition and celebration, an imprint that lasts beyond the final point. When the tournament ended and the court was cleared, the imprint Filipino fans left behind did not fade with the echoes of applause. It lingered in the memories of players who felt unusually supported far from home. It lived in the officials and organizers who witnessed a crowd that elevated the event's atmosphere. And it stayed with fellow spectators who experienced tennis not as a quiet observation,